Hello students. Let's discuss some questions from the today's evening shift. First question we have is from a gaseous state. The question says a gas undergoes a process in which state variable changes from 1 atm 60 ml 27 degrees Celsius to p atm 30 ml and 77 degrees Celsius. The final state, the pressure of the gas is not given. So we need to find this pressure of the gas. Of course, because the number of mole of gas is not changing, we have to assume this. So we can just equate the initial number of mole and final number of mole and find out this final pressure value. So if we solve this question, we can just say that P1 V1 by T1 should be equal to P2 V2 by T2 because number of mole of gas should be same. So if you just relate this equation, you will write P2 as equal to P1 V1 by T1 multiplied with T2 by V2. Now you just have to substitute the values of the pressure, volume, temperature which are given in the question. Please take care of this 27 degrees Celsius. It is in degrees Celsius. You have to convert this into Kelvin. So 27 degrees Celsius will be converted to 300 Kelvin and 77 degrees Celsius is just 50 degrees Celsius extra. So it will be 350 Kelvin. If you just take care of this conversion, if you solve all this, you will get the final pressure as 7 by 3 atm. That gives us the answer 3 is correct. Let's proceed to the next question. Next question is a optics based question. In morning session also we have seen two optics based question. So let's see this question. The light ray is incident on a slab of refractive index 3 by 2. The wavelength of refracted ray is given 520 nanometer. Find the wavelength of incident ray. So there is an incident ray which is going in a medium. In the second medium the wavelength of light is given. We all know the wavelength of light is dependent on refractive index of the medium in which it is propagating. So lambda, we know it is inversely proportional to mu. If I use this relation, I can say lambda incidence upon lambda refracted should be equal to refractive index of the medium of refraction, which is 3 by 2, divided by incident medium refractive index, which I assume here to be air. So it is 1. So if we just solve this, we will get lambda incidence as lambda of refracted medium into 3 by 2. If we just put the value 520 and if we solve, we are getting the answer as 780 nanometer. Little bit of calculation, small calculation I'm not doing here. You can take care of that yourself. Let's proceed to the next question. This is a theoretical question which is based on Young's double slit experiment. Question is asking you that some things are changed in the Young double slit experiment and because of which what will be changed in the fringe width. Let's read the option. First option is that fringe width increases if it decrease if the distance between the slit is constant and wavelength is increased. So we all know the formula for the fringe width is lambda capital D by small d. Lambda capital D by small d. Here capital D is the distance between slit and the screen and small d is the distance between the slits. The question is saying distance between the slit is constant. So this small d is not changed in the first option, but wavelength is increased. Lambda is increased. Of course, beta proportional to lambda. So this is correct because lambda increased. So beta, of course, it will be increased. If you read the second option, fringe width increases if distance between slit is constant. This is same as the first one, but wavelength here is decreased. By decreasing wavelength, fringe width should decrease. So this option is definitely wrong. The third option is keeping the wavelength constant. Third and fourth option are keeping the wavelength constant. They are changing the distance between the slits. Distance between the slit is in denominator here. So if you increase the distance between the slits, the fringe width will decrease. So correct answer should be the fourth one should be correct because here D is decreased, so fringe width should increase. So my first and fourth options are correct here, so I will go with the second option. Let's go to the next question. In next question, we have three identical drops of water having same charge on each. They are coalescing to form a bigger drop. So there are some small drops of water which are converting to a bigger drop. Then the ratio of potential on inner drop to the final resultant drop. Take care here, they are asking potential on the inner initial drop to the final drop. So potential of any drop you can write is as k q by r, where r will be the radius of the drop, q will be the charge of the drop. This is initial drop potential. Final drop potential, it will be k because three drops are converting to a one big drop. Charge will be 3 times. And radius of the bigger drop should be 3 to the power 1 by 3 times radius of smaller drop. N to the power 1 by 3 radius. By volume conservation you can get this. So if you see this final potential is 3 to the power 2 by 3 into initial potential. They are asking initial potential and final potential ratio. So initial potential by final potential, if you just relate this equation, so this is 1 upon 3 to the power 2 by 3. If you look at the option first is the correct option.
So welcome back. So in this question, it's given that let the domain of the function f of x. Okay. So first function is given in terms of logarithms, and second function is given in terms of inverse trigonometric function. So you're given that the domain is alpha to beta. So you're asked to find the value of alpha plus beta. So you know that you have to find the domain of the first function and second function, and you have to take the intersection of the domain, right? So let us first find the domain of the first function, right? So first, so this whole thing is inside log to the base 3. So the general theory of the domain of logarithm function is the number inside logarithm has to be greater than 0. So the first is log to the base 5 of 7 minus of log x square minus 10x plus 85 has to be greater than 0 for the outermost log to be defined, right? This implies 7 minus log to the base 2 of x square minus 10x plus 85 should be greater than 5 power 0, which is 1. So which implies log to the base 2 of x square minus 10x plus 85 should be less than 6, right? Which implies x square minus 10x plus 85 should be less than 2 power 6, which is less than 64. So which implies x square minus 10x plus 85 minus 64, 21 is less than 0, which implies x minus 3 into x minus 7 is less than 0, which implies x belongs to 3 comma 7. So we have come from outside to inside. And apart from this, so individual logarithms also have to be defined. For example, the number inside log to the base 5 has to be greater than 0. That's the other condition. So is it already satisfied? Let's just see. So we have taken that this number is greater than 1. That means it's already greater than 0. And this also, apart from this, x square minus 10x plus 85 should be greater than 0. So because we have only taken the condition that x square minus 10x plus 85 is less than 64, it also has to be greater than 0. So now if you observe this quadratic, you can see that the delta, which is 100 minus 4 times 85, is less than 0, which means this quadratic is always positive. So quadratic always positive. Okay, that means this is x belongs to 3 comma 7 is the domain of the first function. So now let us go to the second part. So the domain of sine inverse, the number that goes inside sine inverse, has to belong to minus 1 to 1. So mod of some number is going. So the number inside mod 3x minus 7 by 17 minus x should be in between minus 1 to plus 1, which makes its mod between 0 to 1, which is okay for sine inverse. Now this is a rational inequality. So you just have to solve it using wavy curve method. So first let us take the left hand side inequality. So 3x minus 7 by 17 minus x plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. And 3x minus 7 by 17 minus x minus 1 less than or equal to 0. So you take the LCM. So 3x minus x 2x minus 17 plus 17 plus 10 by, I'll reverse 17 minus x into x minus 17. That will change the inequality. And this side you have 3x plus x 4x minus 24. By here also I am changing 17 minus x to x minus 17 should be greater than or equal to 0. So this is 5, 6 times getting cancelled. So if you take the wavy curve, so x plus 5 by x minus 17 less than or equal to 0, x belongs to, it's between the roots. So minus 5 closed to 17 open, and here x should not belong to. So the roots are 6 and 17. So the x value has to lie outside the roots. So x belongs to minus infinity to 6, right? Union open 17 to infinity. So you have to find the intersection of these three intervals to get the final domain. Once you get alpha to beta, you can check the values of alpha and beta. Let's do that. So let us take the number line. Let this be 3, 7. One interval is in between 3 and 7. The other is between minus 5 and 17, right? So minus 5 to 17. And the third interval is minus infinity to 6. So the 6 will be somewhere here. So minus infinity to 6 and 17 to infinity. So if you take all these three intervals, this is the interval which is common for all the three equations. So the domain is open 3 to closed 6. So alpha plus beta is equal to 9 is the answer. So let's go to the next question. So this is a question from vectors. So the paper is slightly on the difficult side this shift. This is one of the manageable questions that you can see in this paper. So A is equal to root 2i, B is equal to 5j plus k. So C is A cross B. So we can find A cross B. C bar is equal to root 2 times I bar cross 5i plus k. So this is simply root 2 times 5 I cross j is k, 5k, and I cross k is minus j, right? So this is C bar. So D bar lies in YZ plane. That means it has only Y component and Z component. So we can assume D bar as some xj plus y times k. And mod d bar is 2. The modulus of d bar is 2, which implies x square plus y square is equal to 4. Then the maximum value of c bar dot d bar whole square. So let us take c bar dot d bar is equal to, so mod of root 2 times, if you dot c bar and d bar, so 5y root 2 times 5y minus x. So mod of c bar dot d bar whole square is equal to 2 times 5y minus x whole square. So I want the maximum value of this. That means this is less than or equal to what? So we have x square plus y square is equal to 4. So I want the maximum value of 5y minus x whole square, something like that. So we can use the concept of Cauchy squares inequality. So if you take one vector as having the components 5 and minus 1, if you take another vector with components y and x, the dot product of these two, which is 5y minus x whole square, the dot product of these two vectors whole square is always less than or equal to mod of first vector square, which is 26, into modulus of second vector whole square, which is x square plus y square, which implies 5y minus x whole square is always less than or equal to 26 times x square plus y square is given as 4. So 2 times 5y minus x whole square is always less than or equal to 26 into 8. So less than or equal to 208. So the maximum value of c bar dot d bar whole square is 208. So let's go to the next question. So this is also slightly of the lengthy type. First is integration 0 to 64 x power 1 by 3 plus floor means integer part. Floor function, okay, it's another name for integer part function dx is equal to alpha. So the first part is quite easy, right? So x power 1 by 3 integration is x power 4 by 3 by 4 by 3. So 3 goes up, So going from 0 to 64. Plus, so we know the standard process when integer part is there, we have to divide into intervals. So we have to see where x power 1 by 3 is an integer. So integer cubes are the, so 0 to 1, 1 cube to 2 cube which is 8, 2 cube to 3 cube which is 27, right? 27, I'll just rub this out. Okay, 27 and 27 to 64. So I'm going to divide this integral into 4 intervals. So between 0 to 1, if x is in between 0 to 1, x power 1 by 3 is also in between 0 to 1. So integer part will be 0 dx. So from 1 to 8, if x is in between 1 to 8, x power 1 by 3 is in between 1 and 2. So this becomes, integer part will become 1. So x is in between 8 and 27, x power 1 by 3 is in between 2 and 3. So this becomes 2 dx, this becomes 3 dx. So you can do the calculation, it's quite easy. So this will give you the value of alpha. So I hope you can do the calculations. Next, the second one is integral. That's a definite integral 0 to pi by 2 sine square x by sine power 6x plus cos power 6x dx. So this is also not a very simple integral, but there is a standard process for this. I is equal to this. So let us first use King's rule. So this becomes integration 0 to pi by 2. You can put pi by 2 minus x in the place of x. So this becomes cos square x divided by sine power 6x plus cos power 6x dx. So if you add these two, 2I is going to be integration 0 to pi by 2 sine square x plus cos square x 1 by sine power 6x plus cos power 6x. So a cube plus b cube formula, if you apply, you can write as 1 minus 3 sine square x cos square x dx. So if you divide by 4 and multiply it with 4, the sine 4 sine square x cos square x is going to become sine square 2x. So if you take the LCM, it is 4 goes up 0 to pi by 2 dx by 4 minus 3 sine square 2x. So if you want, you can take 2x as t. So if you take 2x is equal to t, this becomes 4 times integration 0 to pi. T limits are going to be 0 to pi. Dx is dt by 2 by 4 minus 3 sine square t. So if you put pi minus t in the place of t, the integral is not changing. So this can again be written as 4 times 2 times integration 0 to pi by 2 dt by 2 goes out by 4 minus 3 sine square t. So this is a standard integral. There is a standard process for this. We'll divide numerator with cos square t and denominator also with cos square t. So I hope you know the process. 0 to pi by 2, this numerator will become secant square t dt divided by 4 secant square t minus 3 tan square t, and tan t is equal to u, and you follow the process. This secant square t dt is going to become du. So you get 1 by quadratic type. You have the direct formulas. So you will get beta from this. So once you get alpha and beta, you have to find alpha beta square. Okay, so let's go to the next question. So if limit extends to 0, e power a minus 1 into x plus 2 cos bx plus e power minus x into c minus 1 by x cos x minus ln 1 by 1 plus x is equal to 2. They are asking you to find the value of a square plus b square plus c square. Okay, this is a limits based question. So there are lots of different kinds of functions. So it is a expansion based question. So first step, so let us put x equal to 0. So you get 1 plus 2 plus c minus 1 divided by 0. So if the answer has to be finite, if the denominator turns out to be 0, numerator also should turn out to be 0. So which implies c is equal to minus 2. That's the first conclusion. So if the limit has to be finite, if one denominator is 0, numerator also should go to 0. So if c is equal to minus 2, so this will become this third term will become minus 3 e power minus x, right? So now limit x tends to 0, e power a minus 1 into x plus 2 cos bx minus 3 e power minus x whole divided by x cos x minus ln 1 plus x. So now this is equal to 2. So now let us go for the expansions. So let us expand all the functions in terms of polynomials. So once you get polynomial by polynomial, the logic is that only the least power matters. Okay. So if you take the denominator, so x into cos x expansion, let us write the first few terms. 1 minus x square by 2 factorial. So let us write the first two terms. Minus log 1 plus x expansion is x minus x square by 2. So you can see that x term is getting cancelled, and the least power that is remaining in the denominator is x square by 2. So here the next term is x cube term. So the least power in the denominator is x square by 2. So if the answer has to be finite, the least power in the numerator should also be 2. So let us expand the numerator. So if you expand the numerator, let us write, okay. So e power a minus 1 into x. What is the expansion? 1 plus a minus 1 into x by 1 factorial plus a minus 1 whole square into x square by 2 factorial. So I'm not going to write the powers which are more than 2. Up to 2 will be sufficient because the denominator, the least power in the denominator is 2, plus 2 times cos bx, 1 minus b square x square by 2 factorial, minus 3 times e power minus x, 1 minus x by 1 factorial plus x square by 2 factorial. So now all the powers which are less than 2 have to get cancelled out. So let us go for the constant term. So clearly 1 plus 2 minus 3 are getting cancelled. So the constant term is gone. So x term should also go. So what is the coefficient of x? A minus 1, this term. And do you see any other x term? So here you have x term plus 3 has to be equal to 0. This implies a has to be equal to minus 2, right? So once a is equal to minus 2, the x term is getting cancelled. Now the answer is the ratio of coefficient of x square terms. So what is the coefficient of x square in the numerator? A minus 1 whole square by 2 minus 2 and 2 gets cancelled, minus b square minus 3 by 2. This is the coefficient of x square in the numerator whole divided by 1 by 2 has to be equal to the value of the limit, which is 2. So we have the a value, we have c value. Let us put these two values. So a is minus 2, which implies, so minus 3 whole square, 9 by 2 minus b square minus 3 by 2 is equal to 2 into 1 by 2 is 1. So 9 by 2 b square is equal to, so 6 by 2, 3 minus 1, which is equal to 2. So you got the value of b square as 2. So now once you have all the values, so you want a square plus b square plus c square. So I think it is 4 plus c square is 4, b square is, where is c square is 4, a square is 4, b square is 2. So the answer is 10.
Hi students, today afternoon mathematics first question from complex numbers. If complex numbers z1, z2, zn satisfy the equation 4z square plus z bar equal to 0, then sigma I equal to 1 to n mod zi whole square. First solve the given equation 4z square plus z bar equal to 0. Z is x plus iy. 4 into z square means x square minus y square plus I into 2xy plus x minus iy 0. Compare real and imaginary parts. 4x square minus 4y square plus x 0. And imaginary part 8xy minus y 0. So y is 0, x is 1 by 8. Substitute y0 in this one. If y0, then 4x square plus x 0. So x is 0 and x is minus 1 by 4. Here two complex numbers are 1 is 0 plus I0 and minus 1 plus I into minus 1 plus I into 0. Now, if x is 1 by h, then 4 into 1 by 64 minus 4y square plus 1 by 8 is 0. Simplify this, you will get y square equal to 3 by 64. Therefore, in this case, z equal to 1 by h plus or minus I into root 3 by h. But we required sigma mod zi whole square. After solving this equation, here we got 4 solutions. Now we required the sum of the squares of the modulus of the 4 solutions. To calculate sum of the squares, you see here sigma sum equal to 0 root 1 by 16 whole square plus 1 by root of 1 by 64 plus 3 by 64 whole square root of 1 by 64 plus 3 by 64 whole square. This equal to 1 by 16 plus 2 into 1 by 64 plus 3 by 64. Simplify this, we will get 3 by 16. Now, second question in today's paper is, this is from areas. Area enclosed by 4x square plus y square less than or equal to h and y square less than or equal to 4x. To calculate area between these two, one is 4x square plus y square less than or equal to h. Other one is y square less than or equal to 4x. Here this is a parabola. X square by 2 plus y square by 8 less than or equal to 1. For this ellipse, major axis is y axis. So the ellipse shape is like this, which got the x axis at root 2 0, y axis 0 8 root h. Y square less than or equal to 4x. This is a parabola. Area between these two means we required this area. To calculate this area, these two curves intersect at 1. Solve these two. 4x square, y square is 4x equal to h. If we solve these two, x square plus x minus 2 0, x plus 2 into x minus 1 0, here x equal to minus 2, x equal to 1. These two are intersect at 1, x equal to 1. If you want the area, this area we require. These two are intersect at 1, therefore required area equal to 2 times of, since the curve is symmetrical about the x-axis, therefore 2 times of, this is intersect at 1, this is 1, this is 0, 2 times of symmetrical about 2 x-axis, that's why 2 into 0 to 1, root 4x dx plus 1 to root 2 bounded by this ellipse root of 8 minus 4x square dx 2 times of 0 to 1 2 times of 0 to 1 2 root x dx 1 to root 2 2 into root of 2 minus x square dx. Simplify this. Integration of here 2 is common 4 root x integration x power 3 by 2 by 3 by 2 limit 0 to 1 root of 2 minus x square in the form of root of a square minus x square. Root of a square minus x square is x by 2 into root of 2 minus x square plus 2 by 2 sin inverse x by root 2 limits 1 to root 2. So 4 into this is 2 by 3 substitute the upper limit here 0 sin inverse 1 pi by 2 substitute lower limits 1 by 2 minus pi by 4. Simplify this 4 into pi by 2 minus pi by 4 pi by 4 2 by 3 minus 1 by 2 4 minus 3 that is 1 by 6. So this is equal to pi plus 2 by 3. Third one is correct. Now next question in today afternoon paper is mean deviation about median for k 2k 3k up to 1000k is 500 then the value of k square. To calculate mean deviation about median for these observations, first of all mean deviation formula. Mean deviation is sigma xi minus m by n. Here x values are k 2k up to 1000k. The median for these observations is median is here number of observations are even. So the mean deviation the median for these observation is 1001 by 2. Arithmetic mean of 500 and 501. This is median. So mean deviation is given 500 sigma k minus 1001 k by 2 plus 2k minus 1001 k by 2 plus up to 500k minus 1001 k by 2 plus 501k minus 1001 k by 2 up to 1000k minus 1001 k by 2 by total observation is 1000 equal to 500. K minus 1001 means 999 k by 2 997 k by 2 up to 500k minus 1001 k means k by 2 plus k by 2 up to 999 k by 2 by 1000. This value is given 500. Simplify this here 999 k by 2 997 k by 2 up to k by 2 plus k by 2 up to 999 k by 2 by 1000 is 500. This is k plus 3k plus up to 999k by 1000 equal to 500. These are the 500 odd natural numbers. Sum of n odd natural numbers is n square. According to that, this is 500 square into k by 500 by 1000 equal to 500. So simplify this, k by 2 equal to 1, k square equal to 4. So this is first one for this. The next question in today afternoon is, so mean deviation. If 4x square plus y square less than 52, xy belongs to integer, the number of ordered pairs xy. We have to calculate how many integral coordinates lies inside the ellipse. The ellipse equation is x square by 13 plus y square by 52 less than 1. To calculate number of integral solutions for inside the ellipse, if x square 0, then y square can be 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. If x square equal to 1, y square can be 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. If x square is 2, then y square can be 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. If x square is 3, y square can be 0, 1, 4, 9. So total number of ordered pairs. Number of ordered pairs. If x square 0, y square is 0 to 49. If x square and y square can be 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. If x square to y square can be 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. If x square 3, y square can be 0, 1, 4, 5. So total number of ordered pairs xy is 15 plus 26 plus 22 plus 14. This is nothing but a 77.
So students, my name is Amit Tyagi and today I am going to discuss here some of the few questions in the shift 2 question paper. So first question, if you see here, that is a find the dimensions of the expression epsilon naught E upon T, where epsilon naught E and T are the permittivity, electric field and time. So as you know, the expression for the field because of a charged particle, if I say we have a charged particle Q at a distance r from it, I can write the field E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. So here, if you see from here in this expression, what you can write, epsilon naught into E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi Q by r square. So from this we can see the dimension of epsilon naught into E is what? That is coulombs per meter square. This is a unit. 1 upon 4 pi, this is dimensionless, no unit for this. So we can write the unit for epsilon naught E by T. Unit of this we can write, that is coulombs per meter square Q by r square upon T into 1 upon second. Coulomb per second, that is ampere. So we can write this will be ampere per meter square. So here we can write the dimensions of the expression, that is what? A L to the power minus 2. So this is the answer for the question. Now next question, if you see, is related to the wave and sound chapter. In an open organ pipe, third and sixth harmonic frequency differ by 3200 Hertz, 3200 Hertz. Find the length of the organ pipe, speed of sound that is given 320 meter per second. So here if you see in the open argon pipe internal frequency, what we can write, F that is equal to NV by 2L. So this is a frequency of the open organ pipe. Now for the third harmonic, we can write N that is third 3, and for the sixth harmonic N that will be equal to 6. So the difference for these two is given. So I can write 6V by 2L minus 3V by 2L is equal to 3200. Now from this expression we can see the relation is what, 3V by 2L is equal to 3200. V is given, so I can write L is equal to 3, the value of V 320 upon 2 into 3200 in meter, and further we can write this will be 3 into 320 upon 2 into 3200 into 100 in centimeter. So here from this we can see here this value is what, this 32 will be cancelled, 100 cancel over here, so 30 by 2 centimeter, which is equal to 15 centimeter. So this is the length of the open organ pipe. Now see this next question. This is a logic gate question. In this inputs are given A, B, C and D, and we have to find the expression, final expression. So here if you see the gates, this input A, this input B. There's a NOT operation here. There's an AND gate first, there's an AND gate, then NOT. There's OR. And these two outputs, again, these are the inputs for another AND gate, and again a NOT. Now here if you see for the OR gate, input is what, that is C and D. So here what we'll get here in this AND operation, so A dot B, and here we'll get C plus D, that is OR operation. Then we have a NOT here, so this output will be A dot B bar, NOT operation, and then A dot B bar and C plus D, these are the inputs for this AND gate. Let us say this is, if I say X, then what is X? You can say that is A dot B bar. Now we have to do the AND operation, so dot C plus D, this we have, and let us say the final output is Y, which we want to find. So Y is what, that is X bar. You can say Y, this is equal to X bar. So X bar we can write from here, this will be A dot B bar dot C plus D, then whole bar, and this you can write A dot B bar bar plus C plus D bar. So this will be equal to A dot B bar bar, that is again A dot B, plus C plus D bar, so that is C bar dot D bar. So this is a answer for this question. Next question, if you see, it is a rotation question based on the collision concept over here about a fixed axis rotation. So here you can see, given that two balls of mass 2m and M collides with rod of mass M and length L as shown. Balls stick to the rod after collision. Find V by omega if rod is hinged at the center. So here we can see in this problem, we can conserve the angular momentum about the hinge. So here this 2m mass striking with velocity v with the rod at a distance of L by 4 from the center, and this m mass ball is also hitting with the velocity v with the same speed over here at a distance of L by 2 from the center. So if we write the initial angular momentum of the system about the center, we can conserve the angular momentum. So if we write the initial angular momentum about the hinge, so that is what m v into L by 2 for the m mass ball. Then for the 2m mass ball, that is 2m v into L by 4, and both the angular momentum direction is what? Same, that is we can say outward direction. Then we can add these two, and this will be equal to what? That is equal to I into omega, where I is what? That is the moment of inertia of the entire system, because after the collision the two balls they stick to the rod. So here if we see the initial angular momentum, the value of this you can write mvl is equal to the moment of inertia of the system. First, moment of inertia of the rod, that is m L square by 12 plus moment of inertia of the ball of mass m, that is m L square by 4 plus moment of inertia of the ball of mass 2m, that is 2m into L square by 16 into omega. So here if you see, this value will comes out m v L is equal to the total moment of inertia. If you see, it comes out in denominator will be 24, then 2 plus 6 plus 3 into ml square into omega. So from here we can write v by omega, that is equal to 11 by 24 L. One power of L will be cancelled, and the value of L is given, that is 8 meter. So we can write 11 by 24 into 8, that is equal to 11 by 3. So this is our answer of this question. Student, my name is Amit Tyagi, and I'm going to discuss few of the questions of today's JEE Mains second shift paper. So first one, if you see here, this is the statement 1 and statement 2 are given over here, this question. The statement 1 is given that work done by F, that is a force, from R1 to R2, you can say that is a position vector of initial and final point, is given by W is equal to minus integral F dot dr from R1 to R2 if F is a conservative. Now here if you see the work done by any force, if you write, you can write W this will be equal to integral of F dot dr and initial position vector R1, final position vector R2. So here this is valid for all the kind of forces, first of all. Second thing, minus sign should not be here, which is given in the statement. So we can say the statement 1, that is wrong. Now statement 2, if you see this one, there are infinite ways through which we can go from R1 vector to R2 vector, and work done for each case will be different for conservative forces. Now this statement is also wrong. We can say here work done by the conservative force, if you see, that is what? Path independent. It does not depend on the path, it depends only on the initial and final position. So here we can say this statement too, that is also wrong, because it is given that in this statement the work done by conservative force is path dependent. So that is wrong. So in this we can say the answer is what? Statement 1 and statement 2 both are false. Now see the next question here. A laser beam has intensity of 4 into 10 power 14 watt per meter square. The amplitude of magnetic field associated with beam is, in Tesla, we have to find the amplitude of magnetic field. So this is an electromagnetic wave question and is related to the intensity over here. So we can write intensity I average. This will be equal to U average into C. So here this I average is given 4.0 into 10 to the power 14 is equal to U average, we can write B naught square by 2 mu naught, that is the average energy density over here, into C, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8. Now in this we can put the value of mu naught, so we'll get 4.0 into 10 to the power 14 is equal to B naught square by 2 mu naught. That mu naught we can substitute in this mu naught value. So here we can substitute the value of mu naught, that is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 into 3 into 10 to the power 8. So from here we can calculate the value of B naught. If you solve it, it become what? Under root of B naught square we have. So you can find B naught. This will comes out 32 pi upon 30, which is equal to 1.83. So we can say that is option 1. The next question, if you see here, that is, there are two vessels, one containing gas A and other gas B. The number, density, pressure, temperature of both the vessels are equal. So number density is what? Number of molecules per unit volume. In both the containers they are equal. Pressure and temperature, that is also equal. The molecular size of A is half of B. So you can say diameter of molecule A, that is what? Half of the diameter of molecule B, that is given in the problem. What else is given here? The molecular mass of A is 4 times that of B. Molecular mass of A is equal to 4 times molecular mass of B. If collision frequency of B is 32 into 10 power 18, then collision frequency of A will be. So here if you see the collision frequency, we can relate with what thing? Here, if we think about the average time interval between the two successive collision. So inverse of average time interval between the two successive collision, with the help of that we can relate the frequency of collision. So we can write frequency F, this is equal to 1 upon tau, where tau is what? Average time interval between the two successive collisions. And here we can write tau in terms of mean free path and average velocity over here. So that is equal to what? V average upon mean free path. Now in this, if you see, number, density, pressure and temperature are same. Only things which is changing over here, that is diameter of the molecule and molecular mass. So we have to relate the frequency with these two terms. So we can say V average, that is inversely proportional to root M. There is a proportionality between V average and M, and L average. We can relate this with the diameter of the molecule. That is what? L average is inversely proportional to d square. So here, if you see in this case, the frequency, it comes out what? It comes out proportional to d square by root m. So here, if we write Fa upon Fb is equal to, then this we can write in terms of diameter and molecules, that is what? dA by dB whole square, and molecular mass if we include over here, so that will become what? Into under root of MA by MB, inversely proportional to root M, directly proportional to D square. And these ratios are given, so I can write FA is equal to what? dA by dB, that is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 square into under root MA by MB over here that we have. So in this, here, little bit correction in this we can make here. If you see, inversely proportional to M, so this will be MB and this is MA. So here MB by MA is what? That is 1 by 4. So now we can multiply with FB here, and FB value is given 32 into 10 power 18. So that is equal to what? This 1 by 2 square, 1 by 4, root 1 by 4, that is how much? 1 by 2 into FB, that is 32 into 10 to the power 18. So this is equal to 4 into 10 to the power 18. So this is the frequency for the A molecules.
Hello everyone, let's look at this question. It's given here that the photoelectrons which are emitted from the metal surface, they have kinetic energy 0. So the emitted electrons, they don't have any energy. So this happens when the incident photon, energy is exactly equal to the work function of the metal. So we are asked to find the frequency of the photon here. So frequency will be work function by the h value. So we'll replace the work function that's given in the question, 20 into 10 power minus 19 by the h value of 6.6 into 10 power minus 34. So this comes out to be approximately 3.02 into 10 power minus 15 hertz. So option B would be the answer. Let's move on to the next one. So it's given here that there is a pulley block system with one mass is 2m and the other mass is m, and the pulley also has got some mass of 30m. So and this system is released from rest, so we can understand here that the 2m mass moves downwards and m mass rises upwards. As a result, the pulley will be rotating anticlockwise. So we're supposed to calculate the speed of the blocks once the 2m block has moved down by 3.6 meter. You need to understand here that both the blocks will move by the same distance because their velocities are equal at all times. So if 2m is moving down by 3.6, m rises upwards by 3.6. So during this process, there will be a loss in potential energy. So we'll first calculate the potential energy that is lost. So which will be equal to, so 2m has come down by 3.6 meter. So 2m into g into 3.6, and m has risen up by 3.6. So the total lost potential energy would be this. So which comes out to be m into g into 3.6. So this lost potential energy is now converted to the kinetic energy of the entire system, which includes the translation of the two blocks as well as the rotation of the disk, which is the pulley. So we'll write that equation according to energy conservation. So the lost potential energy, which is mg into 3.6, will be equal to the translation of both blocks will have a total energy of half 3m into v square, plus the pulley is rotating, so it has the kinetic energy half I, which is again 1 by 2 mass of the disk is given 30m r square. This is I. Omega square you can write it as v by r here because there is no slipping anywhere, so v by r whole square. So you can simplify this, so m goes away and here r square can also be cancelled out.
So you're left with 36 on this side. This is equal to 3 by 2 v square plus 15 by 2 v square. So solving this gives us v as 2 meter per second. We'll move on to the next one. The relation between the time period of the simple pendulum and its length, that's what is being asked. We need to choose the appropriate graph here. The time period of simple pendulum is given by 2 pi root L by G. So from this you can say that the time period squared is proportional to length. So what that means is if the length is increased, then time period squared will also be increasing. If you look at the fourth graph, it's between 1 by t square and L. So if the length is increased, 1 by t square would decrease. So fourth option would be correct. So here we have about 5 charges which are at the vertices of a regular pentagon, and we're supposed to find or at least understand what the electric field and the potential would be at the center of it. So the electric field being a vector, if you have all the charges to be equal, and at the vertices of a regular polygon, the electric field at the center would be 0 because it's the vector sum. So the net sum of all these fields created by all the 5 charges, that would be 0. Whereas the potential due to each of the charges is the same, which is due to each one. The potential is kq by the distance. Let's call the distance as r here, distance from vertex to the center. It's the same potential that's created by all the charges. So the net potential, if you calculate, it would just be 5 times that created by each one, because it's a scalar, you just add them up. There's no vector sum here. So the answer would be option 2, where the electric field is 0 but the potential is non-zero. We'll move on to the next one. A simple circuit is given with a couple of inductors and 3 resistors. The question is to find the ammeter reading which is connected in series to the EMF. Just after the switch is closed, what is the ammeter reading? So just before the switch is closed, there is no current in the circuit, and inductors generally oppose sudden changes in current. So just before closing the switch, if the current is 0, just after closing the switch also the current remains 0 in the inductor branches. So as a result, we can break the branches which contain the inductor. So that will leave us with this simple circuit of 9 ohm resistor in series to this 9 volt EMF, and the ammeter is also in series to that EMF. So we're supposed to calculate the ammeter reading here, which would be the current value passing to that source, EMF by equivalent resistance, which is just 9 here. So we'll replace the values, 9 volt by 9. So current is 1 ampere. So this will be the current which is passing through the emitter. So that's the ammeter reading. So it would be the first option. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So 22nd January 2026, JEE Mains 2026 session 1, and today was second day. Now we are discussing shift 2, that is the evening slot paper for chemistry. I am Neha Joshi and I am starting discussion of chemistry paper. So and one thing you should remember that these are memory based questions. There may be little if and but regarding the options, or some things are given here or greater than or less than types. So still they are useful for those who are going to appear in coming sessions. These questions are in fact very good. The first 2 questions let me discuss first, then we'll talk the correct order of electron gain enthalpy. Now the beauty of this question is they are very clearly mentioning magnitude only. Otherwise, this is the problem with electron gain enthalpy questions, that sometimes they consider with sign, sometimes they consider without sign, but here it is very clearly mentioned magnitude only. I hope this was mentioned in actual paper also. For 16th group element is. So let me share you the data from NCERT. If I take the values from NCERT, and the values there are given in kilojoules per mole. So oxygen is given minus 141, sulfur minus 200, selenium minus 195, tellurium minus 190, polonium is minus 174. And as clearly mentioned, consider only magnitude. So from here I can say order is sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and then comes polonium and oxygen. In the options, polonium is not used. So with the rest, that sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and then oxygen, answer for this question should be second. 2 should be the answer for first question. Moving to next question. I will regard this question as a slightly tougher one, right? Tougher, why? Because it is tricky. It is a combination of both ionization energy and electron gain enthalpy. Correct order of ionization enthalpy is asked. Yes, it is asked, but some are neutral, F and Cl, and some are ions, Cl minus and F minus. Now for ions, to find the ionization enthalpy, you have to reverse the value of electron gain enthalpy. Like when F goes to F minus, it releases electron gain enthalpy, and for ionization it will absorb that same value of electron gain enthalpy. So we need to know all the possible things. So if I again refer NCERT, ionization energies of F and Cl, F is 1680 and chlorine is 1256, data again in kilojoules per mole. Similarly, if I go for electron gain enthalpy of F, still I am saying F, not F minus, F and Cl. So F is minus 333, same kilojoules per mole, and for Cl it is minus 349 kilojoules per mole. So ionization energy of F minus will be plus 333 and of Cl minus will be plus 349 kilojoules per mole. Now to give the order, you can directly see the ionization enthalpy of, let me mark them here. So first, the maximum is of this 1680. Then it is of chlorine, right? These two should be on top. Then number 3, as you can see, is Cl minus, and number 4 position is for F minus. So let us conclude using all these. Answer appears to be first, that is F, then Cl minus, and then comes the F minus, right? So it is in fact slightly tricky question. So what few such questions has to be in the paper. Let us move to question number 3rd. What does it say? It is again a question of amine chapter, Schotten-Baumann reaction. What is the reaction? Amines CH2, NH2 is treated with acid chloride, PHCOCl, and this PY, all of you know, is pyridine, because we need base in the medium to absorb the byproduct HCl formed in the process. Okay, so COPH. Here HCl will be released, pyridine will absorb this. Otherwise, this HCl will react with leftover aniline or other amines, whichever you are using, and making further reaction impossible. So this is our X. Reduction of this X. What is this X? Functional group of this X is amide. Now, LiLH4 reduces all carboxylic acid and derivatives to their respective alcohols, but except amide, which is reduced to primary or secondary amine as per the substitution present on nitrogen. Can it be tertiary amine? Again, I will say as per the substitution on the nitrogen of the amide. So, this X, which is PHCH2 NHCOPH, when this is treated with this, it is from PHCH2 NHCH2 PH. So we have 2 degree formed here. 2 degree amine PHCH2NH CH2PH. Answer for this question is second. Okay, so quite easy. It can be done if you remember LiLH4 reduction. Which of the following is a mixed oxide? So there should be a mixture of two different oxide. Fe2O3, it is simple, +3 oxide, +3 oxidation state of iron oxide is here. PbO2 +4 of lead, nothing is being mixed. But if I talk of Pb3O4, it is PbO2 +2 PbO. So it is a mixture of two different oxides, lead +4, lead +2. BaO2 is certainly not an oxide, right? It is a peroxide. But again, it is not mixed. Nothing about the mixture there. So answer for this question is 3. Quite easy question it was. So here again one more question of organic and is using very important common reaction called ozonolysis. Take ozonolysis is such an important reaction. It is used here and it is such a simple question. See, an alkene on reductive ozonolysis gives methanol as one of the product. Its structure is, if you know the basic ozonolysis, just break this, put double bond O, and you can see any cyclic system cannot give methanol. It will open up and still have the same carbon count. Yes, this will give methanol, right? From here you will have HCHO. No methanol not possible. Here I will have ethanol. So the answer for this question, this is quite an oral question. You can just see it and tick the option, right? So answer for this is second. Moving to numerical, 5.8 gram aniline is converted into benzanilide with some reaction sequences. Calculate mass of benzanilide formed if percentage yield of reaction is given to be 82%, right? So what is benzanilide? Here structure is to be formed. Benzanilide is an amide of aniline and benzoic acid, right? This is benzanilide and we have to prepare it from aniline, and here they are using benzoyl chloride, COCl. And just 2-3 questions back I told you that HCl is formed as a byproduct. So to absorb that they are using NaOH, some base, pyridine, NaOH, 3 degree amine, such things should be used to absorb that extra HCl which is formed in the reaction as a byproduct. Now, if you see here, molecular masses for aniline is 93 gram and for benzanilide it is 197 gram. Assuming 100% reaction is possible, I can say from 93 grams of aniline, 197 grams of benzanilide will be formed. But here it is given only 5.8 grams to start. But the yield is also given only 82%. So let me calculate. If the yield is 100%, then from 93 grams, I am having 197 gram of benzanilide, PHNH But if the yield is 82%, then I'll say 197 into 0.82 grams of benzanilide is formed. But this is still formed from 93 grams of aniline. What if the reaction is started with 5.8 grams of aniline? Then what will be formed? So I will say 197 into 0.82 upon 93 into 5.8 grams of benzanilide will be obtained. On solving this, you will get something like 10.07 gram. But as you know, in mains we have to mark integral values. So answer you will take is 10. Okay. Let us check if they have mentioned any unit. Calculate mass of benzenolide formed. No, they have not mentioned any unit. Otherwise, in such questions, you have to be careful about the unit, whether they are asking in grams, milligrams, sometimes even in kg. Okay, so that is the extra precaution which might be needed. Question is slightly calculative. Otherwise, the previous question may, whatever time we have saved, could be invested in this question to have correct calculations. Right? Let's move to the next question. So here we are again with one more question from hydrocarbon chapter. And the most important thing is it is in combination of IUPAC nomenclature. Very, very important concepts that we come across while preparing for JEE. So what is this first step? They have given us gem dihalide, CH2, CH2, CH3. Now they are giving two equivalents of NaNH2. Strong base will cause E2 bimolecular elimination, and we will have CH triple bond C, CH2, CH3 to be formed as X. Now, this X is again treated with one more equivalent of NaNH2. It is a terminal alkyne, and terminal alkynes behave acidic. So I will have CH3CH2, C triple bond C, and A. Sodium salt of this terminal alkyne, but1-ine. So this is my compound after one equivalent of NaNH2. Now it is saying that it is further treated with one equivalent of, it seems, isopropyl bromide is used. Now isopropyl bromide is a 2-degree halide. This salt is nucleophile, so we will have attack and bromine is gone. So we have CH3, CH2, C triple bond C, CH, CH3 and CH3 formed. But the options are of IUPAC nomenclature, so I have to assign correct IUPAC name to this particular structure. Now we know that we have to start numbering for this hydrocarbon from the end from which we get lower number to the first appearing multiple bond. But here I go either side, I will have lower number to the multiple bond as 3. Right? But still I am starting from this side. Why? So that I also get lower number along with the multiple bond to the first appearing substituent. So my name for this compound would be 2-methyl hex 3-ine. I don't know whether they have given as one of the option of 5-methyl hex 3-ine. It should have been as one of the option to confuse students. But here in our memory based paper, I come across this 2-methyl hex 3-ine as an answer. So answer for this is 1. Okay, moving to the next question. Biomolecules, long awaited in this paper. Biomolecule is now here. So glucose is made to react with the reagents mentioned in list 1 and the products are obtained in list 2. So let us see what all reagents are given. So glucose, if reacts with bromine water, first all of you have to remember glucose, right? CHO, 4 chiral centers. This is our glucose. First, with bromine water, there is oxidation, but oxidation is only of aldehyde N and the other terminal remains same. So HOH, OHH, HOH, HOH. This is gluconic acid. Gluconic acid, and here there is gluconic acid as an option. Correct? So this match, A should match with 4. As we can see, this fourth something has been left. Let's add it was gluconic acid, and let's check what are my other choices. So A ko 4, if I give, I have only 2 choices, either option number 1 or option number 4. Moving further, again an easy choice for me is concentrated HNO3, because concentrated HNO3 oxidizes glucose from both ends, like both terminals will become carboxylic acid. So this is glucaric acid, or is also known as saccharic acid. Right? So we have already eliminated 2 and 3 from our choice, and if this is saccharic acid, I would be in search of C for second, C third, C fourth, C second. So it appears that answer should be fourth. By just these two we can get the answer. Otherwise, going further, acetic acid anhydride will react with all these OH and pentaacetate, alcohol plus anhydride forming ester. So to complete the set, this should have match with third, glucose pentaacetate hydroxylamine. So answer should be glucose oxime. So ISCO will match with first. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. So final answer for this question will be 4. Right? A good question. And this tells us all of you to revise biomolecules for coming shifts.
Next question, if you see, it is something related to D block elements. He's asking which of the following will behave as a reducing agent. In the sense, it is strong reducing agent. Reducing agents undergo oxidation. Therefore, if I write reverse reaction, aluminum is giving Al plus 3 electrons, and its E naught will be plus 1.66. And for cobalt plus 2, if you write, because that is given in the option, so CO plus 3 plus electron E naught is minus 1.81. And Fe plus 2, if you see, its tendency to undergo oxidation, E naught is minus 0.77. And for cadmium, tendency to undergo oxidation will be plus 0.4 volts. So out of these four, the one with highest tendency is for aluminium. So our answer will be aluminum is strongest reducing agent. It's a print mistake. It is strongest reducing agent. Okay. Next, let us move on to another question. It is statement type of question. First ionization enthalpy of chromium is greater than manganese, and third ionization enthalpy of chromium is less than that of manganese. So if I write electronic configuration of chromium, atomic number 24, it is valence configuration I am writing straight away. It is argon 4s1 3d5, and when it comes to manganese 25, that is argon 4s2 3d5. So both have half filled d orbitals, but S is halfly filled, here S is fully filled, and across a period ionization enthalpy in general increases. So chromium will have less than manganese, but here he is saying first ionization enthalpy of chromium is greater than manganese, therefore it is incorrect statement. And second and third ionization enthalpy of chromium is asking. So after removal of one electron, so if you write chromium plus 1 electron configuration, it is argon 3d5, and on removal of one electron from manganese, it is argon 3d5 4s1. In order to remove the next electron, here we are going to remove electron from third shell, and in manganese +1 we are going to remove electron from fourth shell. So it is easy to remove electron from manganese other than chromium. That means chromium has second ionization enthalpy of chromium will be more than that of manganese. But he's saying second and third ionization enthalpy of chromium is less than that of manganese, therefore it is also incorrect statement. So as per that, both statement 1 and statement 2 are incorrect. Alright, so it is, means two questions were asked in D block elements itself. And then coordination compounds. A nomenclature question, if you follow the IUPAC rules, we can easily answer this question. Here we have two ligands, triphenyl phosphine, aqua ligand. Both are neutral ligands. Therefore, nickel oxidation state will be +2 because chloride is -1. Aqua ligand starts with A, triphenyl phosphine starts with T. So as per alphabetical order, first aqua comes into picture. So triaqua, tris triphenyl phosphine, because triphenyl phosphine itself contains a prefix word tri, so we cannot use tri here, so we have to use tris for the recurrence. So triaqua, tris triphenyl phosphine, nickel oxidation state is +2 and outside is chloride. So as per that, only first option is correct here. Triaqua, tris triphenyl phosphine, nickel 2 chloride. So we'll be discussing few questions in today's JEE Mains second session of chemistry questions. So here the question is 100 grams of 98% by weight H2SO4 is mixed with 100 grams of 49% by weight H2SO4. So he is asking you to find mole fraction. So mole fraction, to find out, we need to know number of moles of H2SO4 by number of moles of H2SO4 plus number of moles of water. So to find number of moles of H2SO4 in the mixture, so we need to know weight of H2SO4. Since it is given weight percent, 98% by weight is saying. So in the first solution, you can straight away take 98 grams of H2SO4 and water will be 2 grams. When it comes to second, this is solution 1 and solution 2, we have 49% by weight, means it means 49 grams of H2SO4 and rest, that is 51 grams of water. So when you are mixing it, we need to know total weight. So total weight of H2SO4 is 98 plus 49 and total weight of water in the mixture is 51 plus 2, so it is 53, 147. Now if you find the number of moles of H2SO4, it is 98 plus 49 by 98, which is 1.5 moles. Number of moles of H2O, which is 53 by 18. So when you find the mole fraction of H2SO4, it is 1.5 by 1.5 plus 53 by 18, which comes out to be approximately 0.33. So option 4 will be our answer. Alright, so let us move on to next question. Here, once again, a question is being asked about pH, means ionic equilibrium question. It is most important, and let us see how we solve. If you observe the question, volume ratio of decimolar ammonium hydroxide and decimolar HCl to give a solution of pH 9.25 at 25 degrees Celsius, and ratio is given as x is to 1, find x is I. So if you see the body of this question, you will come to know it is a question that is related to buffer because we have weak base and we are mixing with strong acid. So if I write the reaction between ammonium hydroxide and HCl, we will be getting ammonium chloride plus H2O. So volume is X and its molarity is dc, dc means 10 to the power of -1. So it is 0.1 X millimoles of ammonium hydroxide and 1 into 0.1 millimoles of HCl. This is before mixing. So after mixing or after the reaction, in order to get buffer, as you mentioned, pH is 9.25, so it is basic buffer. In order to get basic buffer, strong acid must be limiting reagent. Therefore, when HCl completely consumed, out of 0.1 X, 0.1 millimoles of HCl will be consumed and 0.1 millimoles of ammonium chloride will be formed at the end. Therefore, since it is basic buffer, POH will be equal to pKb plus log conjugate acid concentration by concentration of weak base. So pH is 9.25, therefore POH will be 4.75, pKb is also 4.75 plus log conjugate acid concentration is 0.1, weak base that is left out is 0.1 x minus 0.1. So if I take 0.1 common, it will be x minus 1. So 0.1 get cancelled. So 4.75 4.75, this becomes 0. So you will have log 1 by x minus 1 base 10. Therefore, if I simplify this, 1 by x minus 1 is 10 to the power of 0, which is equal to 1. So x minus 1 is equal to 1. Therefore, x is equal to 2. So it is integer type of question. Therefore, x value will be 2. Next, let us move on to one more question that is also based on ionic equilibrium chapter. Simply is asking which of the following is basic buffer. So composition of basic buffer is weak base plus its conjugate acid. This mixture will form basic buffer. So if you observe carefully, the first option we have strong base and it's a salt with weak acid. Second option we have strong base and it's a salt with strong acid. Third one, K2SO4 is formed from strong acid and strong base, and H2SO4 is strong acid. So this is ruled out. This is ruled out. So only left over are NaOH and CH3CONa and NH4OH and ammonium chloride. So if you observe fourth option, weak base is there, that is ammonium hydroxide, and its conjugate acid is NH4Cl. Therefore, here our correct answer will be fourth option. So remaining questions will be discussed by our colleagues. So one more question, basic level question of thermochemistry they asked, that is, they are asking us to find lattice energy of sodium chloride. So we all know very well that it is about Born-Haber cycle. So let us construct Born-Haber cycle for the formation of sodium chloride. So sodium chloride is formed from its elements, that is solid sodium plus half mole of chlorine gas. When they combine, we will be getting sodium chloride. Same sodium chloride can also be obtained from its ions in gas state. So here the enthalpy involved is lattice enthalpy, which we are going to find now. But gaseous sodium ion can also be obtained from solid sodium. First, we have to convert solid sodium into gaseous sodium, which is sublimation process. So enthalpy of sublimation involved, and then it should undergo ionization. So enthalpy of ionization involved here. And then from molecular chlorine, we have to obtain chloride ion, chloride anion in fact. So here it has to undergo dissociation or atomization, whatever you call it. So here enthalpy of dissociation half mole. So that we'll be getting chlorine gaseous atoms, and then electron gain enthalpy gives you chloride ions. As per Hess law of constant heat summation, whether a reaction takes place in a single step or in multi steps, total amount of heat involved is same. Therefore, enthalpy of formation is equal to sublimation, ionization, dissociation, electron gain enthalpy, and then lattice enthalpy. Except lattice enthalpy, all the values have been given in the question. So enthalpy of formation is minus 411, which is equal to sublimation 107, ionization, that is 502, half dissociation, that is half of 242, and then electron gain enthalpy, that is given as minus 355, and lattice enthalpy. So we need lattice enthalpy. So which is, see, when you send all these terms other side, then you'll have minus 411, minus 107, minus 502, minus 121, plus 355. So when you solve this, you'll be getting minus 786 kilojoule per mole. So our answer will be first option.